happen. Is anyone getting a message? Okay, so good, everyone stayed. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to get started today. I want to first of all say Happy Father's Day, and I want to thank all of our nurturers that have ensured the health and the well-being of your children and children of others. And many of you have adopted children along the way into your lives, and know that this is your true legacy. Yes, and we celebrate you. Again, I want to welcome everyone here this afternoon. I'm so used to saying this morning because that's when we were meeting at 9:30 in the morning. But boy, is it good to meet in the afternoon, and we all can sleep in a little bit Sunday morning, enjoy the newspaper, have that cup of coffee or more, and ease into our day together. I have a few announcements to make. We will be closed next Sunday, which is June 27th. That is because it is a fourth Sunday, and during the summer months, we take a summer hiatus from meeting on fourth Sundays. Also, Sunday, July 4th, which is our nation's birthday, we will be closed. So we do hope that everyone has a spectacular celebration, whatever that is that you plan on doing on the 4th of July. The Ethical Society is hosting a blood drive at the North Central PA Red Cross chapter on Friday, June 25th at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday, June 28th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Wednesday, June 30th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if you would like to donate blood, please make an appointment, and you can do that by visiting redcrossblood.org and use the sponsor code Red Cross Office. There's also, you can visit our website at Susquehanna Valley ethicalsociety.org and find more information about this event. We are in the midst now of the AEU's annual assembly. It's the 106th annual assembly, and it is being held virtually on Zoom. And on Thursday evening at 8 p.m., our member Scott Franciscus is doing a program titled Reclaiming the New Colossus. And you can find out more information by visiting the aeu.org and finding out how to log in or link in to Scott's program. And then Saturday, June 26th, is the Anna Garland Spencer Award ceremony. That begins at 2 p.m. And I'd love I invite you all to attend and support not only me in getting this award, but the other wonderful members from other societies across the nation who are also receiving this. So,
we're so proud of you.
Thank you. And I thank my society for nominating me, and it's a thrill to be doing the work that I'm doing. I love every moment of it. And let's see. Oh, I said last Sunday we were having a picnic, and that picnic is on Sunday, August 15th at the Lewisburg Community Pool Park in the large pavilion. We will be meeting from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Al, if you and Sean can make it, you can come the day before and spend the night, because I know 11 a.m. is pretty early for you to have to leave New York City to get here.
I'll let you know, my darling. Thank you.
All right, you let us know. And to all, bring your families, bring your friends. We'd love to really have a grand time together on that day. Okay, why are we meeting? And Kim, maybe you could get us started.
Sure.
With why we meet.
Well, we meet to deepen our sense of the meaningfulness of life. We meet to shine light on the ideas with which we guide our choices, and to give us courage to take the higher path and to get to know one another over time in appreciation of each one's unique and incomparable worth. And together, we work for a world where love and justice cross all borders.
Thank you, Kim. And together, we can read the statement of our affirmation, and we'll begin. We affirm the worth, dignity, and uniqueness of every human being. Okay, our theme this month, cultivating what matters. And I'd just like to take a few moments and for you to sit with that thought. And, what does it bring to your mind when you hear that we are cultivating what matters in our lives? What do you think about? What do you think that might be? What do you think we might be discussing when we talk of that? Okay. Anybody here have a thought?
It's kind of hard to put it in just a few concise words, but I'll try.
Okay.
For me personally, I would like to cultivate an example of inclusiveness and love in our community.
Okay.
Really
Yeah.
as much as I can simplify it.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone else have a thought on what that means to you, cultivating what matters? Darlene?
Was her hand up?
Okay, I'm not hearing you. Are you unmuted, Darlene?
She's unmuted.
I'm on mute.
There you are.
There you go.
Am I off mute?
You're good.
You're good.
Okay. I feel I'm cultivating wider perspectives. Because even when people have similar values, they have come at those from different perspectives. And I love to hear people's stories. So I just think I'm cultivating wider perspective.
Thank you, Darlene. This was a beautiful thought. Anyone else there on Zoom, just unmute yourself and speak up.
Well, if I have to say cultivating personally, it would be cultivating time with those that matter to me, like my husband, where I don't have that time usually because of work. We both have, very demanding jobs, and to, find real space for the people that I love.
Nice. Yeah. Wonderful. Anybody else? Anyone here sitting beside me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, I'm cultivating and try to relationships with family and friends, cultivating a deeper sense of spirituality. And I'm not quite sure how to say this last thing. I'm looking for things that I don't know, or think I know, but don't understand at all, or simply wrong about. I guess I should say I'm trying to cultivate growth.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear that. Yes, yes. These were all awesome, awesome ways of thinking about what matters, and you know, and I think of cultivating as growth. Um, you know, planting the seed and taking that what you planted and feeding it. I think part of, you know, what we do here is, you know, we are feeding a need for everyone that attends with us each Sunday. And so, yeah, so let's take this a step farther. Back in 1943, an American psychologist and humanist, Abraham Maslow, wrote a paper called A Theory of Human Motivation. And Maslow cited, you know, several things that were important for humans, and belonging was one of the needs, and it fell in after our needs psychologically or physiologically, excuse me, and safety. So Maslow said, okay, when all of our needs such as, you know, shelter and food and, you know, warmth, you know, after all those needs were met, the next important need was safety, making sure that we were in spaces that, you know, were protective of us, making sure that, you know, we were able to survive safely and have what we, you know, what we need in our lives to survive. And then thirdly, he felt when those needs were met, the next important need we have as human beings is belonging, belonging to something, feeling as though we belong. So the need for a sense of belonging resonates across all cultures. Members of a northern native tribe of South Africa greet one another daily by saying sawubona, or so I know I did not pronounce that correctly, and maybe Jay knows. He knows very well cultures from, you know, the African cultures. Jay, do you know how that's properly pronounced? Swabona? Maybe it's Swabona.
What's the ethnic group? What's the ethnic group?
The ethnic group is Natal Tribe of South Africa, Natal.
The tall?
Natal, Natal. No?
I wouldn't necessarily, I can't say I know this one particularly. I'm more West African with my exploration.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to pronounce it Swabana. All right, which means it means I see you. And the response to that phrase is I am here. So this daily exchange denotes that until you see me, I do not exist. And when you see me, you bring me into existence. So cultivating culture is belonging is about being seen and heard in our full humanity. So I'd like us to, have a sense of belonging, knowing it's common. It's a human need to belong. And know that it means acceptance as a member or part of something, of a place. And let's think about, what does it feel like to belong? What does it feel like to belong? What are some, maybe you have, in a word or two, what does that feel like? Okay, I think we'll just go around the room, and then we'll get to folks joining us from Zoom. Give you just a moment to give more thought, because I don't want to catch you off guard. Now, if you want to pass, you certainly can say, I'll pass. That's perfectly okay. All right, Mike, what does it feel like to belong?
Comfort, safety, a sense of calm, basically, at that point.
Okay. Kim?
I believe it's a feeling of validation that I matter, I'm important to somebody. And like Mike said, it's a comforting feeling. It's belonging feels like, to me, this family.
Yeah, I think that comfort is probably the best definition. To belong to something or to a number of groups is a comfortable feeling, and to belong to groups like this, where you have a diversity of thoughts and ideas, it brings it that much more, because you're saying that you're comfortable with people that may not have the same ideas that you do, and that in itself is again a comforting feeling.
Thank you. Guy?
Yeah, I like what Marty just said about the feeling of comfort. Particularly when you are made to feel that way by people whose views are much different than yours. Like very different, very views. But I have a lot of friends that have very conservative views, and yet, I feel just as comfortable around them as I do sitting with all you. Because they accept who I am and I accept who they are.
Right. Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Brian.
I would
How
say
does
for
it feel to
me,
belong?
I think the big, probably two big words for me would be acceptance and love. I mean, of course, a lot of you know my story and so forth, where I think this society has shown me unconditional.
I think that's one of my favorite words.
Yes. Yes.
And just, and accepted me for who I am and has never judged or, I think that's a big thing too. Judgment is a huge thing. There's no judgment. So I just think that's all very important. Very important.
Thank you, Brian. Marcus.
Sorry, I've got some kind of emergency calls I have to deal with, so just go ahead to the next.
Okay. Lawrence, Al?
Never, never, never Lawrence.
Lawrence, I know Al. Lawrence.
Correct. I can't think of anything better than what everyone else has said. It's really just capsulated everything. So I'm good with what everyone else said.
Thank you, Al. Darlene.
She drifted off. There she is.
I don't know exactly the word, but what keeps coming to mind is relaxation. That's, in other words, belonging gives a sense of peace.
Mhm.
And like, you don't have to be phony. You can be yourself.
Jay.
Yeah, I really appreciate what everyone is saying. I think a few of the things that really set out for me is, you know, I think for me most of all is I really rest upon the idea of becoming. I'm rooted there. It speaks to the evolution of who I am as a person, and never settling within my humanity for, you know, what is expected or, you know, told to me as this is how you should be. I think there's that sense of, it's like I value belonging, but I want a belonging that's rooted in my becoming. And that has been something that I think we strive to do here and you know, in the valley, and trying to make sure that the work that we're doing is constantly planting these seeds that allow for us to cultivate a, you know, a forward, if not forward, but a evolutionary kind of approach to living ethically, because we know things will change. It's 2021. Things will change 5 years later. Things will keep changing. And so we have to continue to develop language, and not only develop language, but develop language that holds our identities and our experiences and our stories as we continue to progress.
Thank you. Marcus.
He's still on the phone.
Are you still on the phone?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
there's, I'll just tell you what I've been doing a little bit. So there's, my spouse is on vacation in California and forgot one of many medications that he's on. So I've been having to call the on-call doctor to get the prescription sent over to where he is in California. And so, you know, that's all. So
Okay.
I'm afraid I missed the beginning of this conversation.
Oh, okay, Marcus. Yeah. Well, we were just sharing what it feels like to belong. Do you have a word or two, or you know, something to share about, you know, what for you personally, what it feels like to belong?
Well, I think that I have heard snippets of what other people have had to say about acceptance and love and growing into things. I think for me, it's you know, it's just making sure that the world is big enough to accommodate a wide range of people that live in it. And it seems to me like, I'm sorry, this is more than one word. It seems to me like that one of the issues that I've had among many is that the world seems to be getting smaller. It seems to be shrinking over the past few years in terms of who we deem acceptable and in our world or in our community, or you know, or who can vote, or you know, who, whatever. So I'm just looking for a place where people are valued for just being people, and that we're not, so many religious societies I think operate on a basis of exclusion rather than inclusion. If you don't believe this, you don't belong. If you don't, you know, it's, if you're not, whatever. So I would like to live in a bigger world. That's my answer.
Right. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. And you know, for me, you know, that sense of being in a space that allows myself and the others who are sharing the space with me, you know, the sense that who they are, you know, what they bring to the space is all right. You know, that we don't have to pretend to be any, you know, something that we aren't. It's just that whole sense of allowing each of us to be who we are, be who we are. I think that sums it up for me. Okay, now I think we all probably have spaces and places where we do feel as though we belong, that we can feel, you know, everything that we shared here just, you know, moments ago in lots of different places. So what are some of the spaces or places do you feel as though you belong?
On my couch.
On your couch? Did you say on your couch?
I'm gonna go with that too.
And Darlene was thumbs up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other shares?
I like the freedom I have to express who I am among my theater group, my theater friends. We're also a very inclusive, open-minded type of people. I guess that's what you would describe them. They're very accepting, and we sort of thrive together, not in spite of our differences, but because of them. And it's a really great belongingness.
Anyone else? I'm gonna go around the room unless you share right now.
Come on, she's channeling Miss Marsha again.
Come on. Come on. Okay, Morty.
But believe it or not, I feel comfortable also being Jewish at the temple. And I guess it's probably more ethnic than anything else, but people that have shared hereditary backgrounds, and we don't always agree on what's happening now in politics and so on and so forth, but there's a commonality. In fact, one of my friends, who was a longtime friend from when we were young, I was in fact a president of the temple for a bit, and my friend said, "You're the only atheist I ever knew that was a president of a temple." But it was people with a common background. You tend to be, the sense of belonging is there. And but that's only part of your life. The rest of the other part of your life is being like here, or where you're not the same as everybody else, and your views may or may not be the same, but there is a sense of belonging, and it's comforting. That's why Zoom bothered me, but being with people is the most important.
Yeah, I hear that, Morty. Guy.
Well, I certainly feel comfortable with this group, and I feel very comfortable with the Unitarian Church, and particularly with our book club and with the meditation group that I'm involved with there, and with the people at PTS, who volunteer down in Allison Hill, and yeah, I feel pretty accepted in all those places and pretty comfortable.
Good, good.
And
Mike?
even, and even the
Whoops.
conservative fishing club.
Oh, yes, your fishing club. Yeah, yeah. You'll be glad when you can get back into Canada for some fishing.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Mike?
Repeat the question there, dear teacher.
Where else do you feel a sense of belonging?
Sockeye salmon season coming up now.
I've never fished the fish for king, but
Oh. Yeah, yeah. Mike? Did Kim tell you what the question was?
Yes, where do I feel comfortable?
Yeah, where do you feel comfortable? Where do you feel that you belong?
Where do I belong? I belong in my backyard.
Mhm.
Basically tending my garden, watering the flowers, and doing those kind of things. And basically hanging out with the grandkids more so than anything else. That's where I really feel like I belong at this point in my life. And also participating and being amongst folks of, as Rick and I always would say, of like mind and so forth like that. It's always comforting to find folks that kind of are more or less cut from the same kind of cloth that you are. So there we go.
Okay, Zoom folks. Okay, L spoke, unless he has more to add to his couch belonging.
I am comfortable. I find myself at most peace with in ethical culture as the AEU and what we're striving to do. It's when I say I put my life into my work, I truly do that. So
Yeah,
You do.
yes, yes, Val. Brian?
I think with me, I've got several. I think it begins with self, believing in yourself, trusting in yourself. And then of course, family. What I mean by that is with Jay and his mom, Cynthia. And home is just a very peaceful, where I'm staying now is very peaceful. I mean, that what makes me comfortable is just being around family, being comfortable in my own body, of who I am.
Thank you, Brian. Marcus?
Yeah, I think home is, being.
Marcus, wait one moment. Marcus, it's very hard to hear you.
Oh,
Can
maybe.
you make?
Let's see. Can you hear me at all? Not really.
Well, we hear you, but it's for some of us who have a little hard of hearing. It's a volume can be
It's quite faint, even for me.
Can
And I'm
you hear me?
trying to
now?
leave.
Can you hear me? My volume's all the way up. So.
all right. Well, then just speak louder.
So maybe it's my earbud.
That's it.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay. So I think, home is definitely a place where I recharge. I'm kind of an introvert anyway, so that's for me. I volunteer as a mediator and the community around the Susquehanna Valley Mediation Center. Those people, they sort of really kind of preach the same non-judgmental values that I'm hearing with this group. So I feel comfortable with them. And otherwise, I feel comfortable in a crowd because I don't know where any of those people are coming from. So sort of the anonymity of being in a crowd is somewhat comforting. But all of that wonderful thing being said, I feel like COVID and everything else has created a lot of anxiety about the outside world and what people, what they, where they're coming from. So I think in some ways there's been a, I don't know, not an expansion of trust, but sort of a diminishing of trust because of, certainly because of COVID for me.
Yes, yes, Marcus. Jay went off screen. Oh, there he is. Oh, Jay, there you are.
You're muted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, Jay.
So yeah, it's funny that we just asked this. We just got to this question because, like, I officially got to the burial ground, and so I am here and went around the fence, kind of broke into the little side viewpoint, which I probably shouldn't do, but you know. But yeah, it's I will say probably right now, just like everything else, like I often say, the world is my home. And as long as I have that space, where like I can explore myself, examine myself in relationship to the rest of the world, I do quite well. I love it. I love it. You know, I often, anyone who knows me on a very intimate level knows they have to love me in my freedom. That is like, that is essential to be able to,
Oh yeah.
you know, love me. Shut up. Yeah, but loving me in my freedom is key because and much happens in that because there and to honor that. I appreciate I go where the love is, and I go where basically freedom is my boundary, and those who are in solidarity with that I am in relationship with.
Thank you, Jay. Yes, yes. Darlene.
When I can breathe, and right now I'm not able to. So
You're just gonna pass.
anyway,
Oh,
You okay?
are you okay, Darlene? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, we'll come back when Darlene is able to breathe freely again. Okay, yes, some concern there for Darlene at this point. All right. Yeah, so, you know, the sense of belonging is very strong. You know, knowing where those spaces are that we feel as though we belong. And then recognizing that, you know, we often find ourselves in spaces where we feel we don't belong, or we know immediately we don't belong, or we know that, you know, the people that are in this space that we have found ourselves in aren't opening themselves for us to belong. So does anyone like to share, you know, what that's been like? You know, what kind of places or spaces have you been in and you knew? Al.
Well, mine's more general in sense. One thing that most people don't know about me is that I'm an extreme introvert. And I am extremely uncomfortable in any kind of crowd, any kind of
Didn't get that.
anything.
No.
I know no one believes that, right?
Patty and I are really doubting that, but okay.
Very true. I get very nervous, very quiet, and kind of stay in a corner. I find that, you know, being around individuals like in ethical, I'm more at ease. But anywhere else, I do get anxiety. And I just feel, you know, I grew up in a certain way, which wasn't a very great way, that it's still, you know, it's a stigma. It's with me that I can't get over. But people like you, Patty, that you're very welcoming, you know, and it's a trust thing. It's very difficult for me to have that trust in a crowd or in a place I don't know. I guess afraid of judgment, afraid of being a gay man growing up that way in the South. It was very difficult, you know, and you just think, oh, everyone's pointing the finger at you. So it's you know, it's a challenge.
Thank you, Al. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, anyone else on the Zoom?
I would say, I mean, you know, Ohio is a big no-no to me, just for the plain fact of because that's where my children live, and you know, and it's very difficult sometimes to deal with the rejection of that. And you know, I really, you know, it you know, I know Jen and I went there here about a month or so ago, and the entire time that I was there, I was very uncomfortable. Even when him and I took our mothers out for Mother's Day, I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiousness, just the fact of I didn't want to run into my children or my ex-wife. And so, you know, I really stay clear of those areas, you know, at least until they are ready to reach out to me. That's what I have to wait for. So, yeah.
Yeah, Brian, thank you for sharing that. We love you.
Yes.
Love you. Sending that love.
Brian, you hit a very tender spot in me. And I feel that pain myself. I'm not on good terms with my own family of origin. And it's very difficult, especially around holidays. I've been just shocked at the rejection that they've aimed at me. It does hurt. And really belonging here has been just so important to me.
Yes.
Because I don't know where else I would turn to be loved and validated for who I am. When you lose your family of origin, it's just a raw wound. And yes. This family I have here is my salve. Respect you, Brian.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Darlene?
I'm back.
You're back. Are you breathing better now?
I'm breathing better now. It's easier to talk when you can breathe.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I feel uncomfortable just about anywhere that I am with a group of people because I don't fit in one slot. Being a Presbyterian makes me, for some, being a Christian makes me, for some, being in a group of Christians. In fact, before I became a Presbyterian minister, I said, don't call me a Christian if by that you mean a mealy-mouthed, judgmental, condemning person. But and even in Presbyterians, I find myself uncomfortable because I always speak my mind, and I want to hear other people's points of view. However, I'm so stubborn and stuck in my own points of view that I find it difficult to listen. And for that, I have to work really, really hard. And so that's one of the reasons that I really appreciate the Alternatives to Violence project, is because that has allowed me to realize, like I said, that we all come to where we are from different paths, and we all have that desire to belong. And we've not been very good as human beings on teaching each other how to communicate. So,
Thank you for being a part of the solution.
yeah, and I find this group, while I'm definitely a spiritual, religious person, to be a group where I can understand and hear where you're coming from, in part because of the ethical aspect of it. I'm a justice person from deep down. If you know me any length of time, you know I'm justice person.
Yeah. You're a justice warrior, Darlene.
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, let's go hear from some more folks sitting here with us. Guy, did we hear from you or about, a space or a place that maybe you knew immediately that didn't belong, and what it felt like, or what was the situation?
That's the question.
Yeah, that was the question. But you can take it in any direction you would like.
Well, for quite a few years, I've hung out at a little biker board down in Bainbridge on the river. I've been very accepted by everybody down here. I'm not a biker by any means. But as Trump became more popular, and particularly the pandemic, I don't feel comfortable there anymore, like I did, and it saddens me. But nobody down there has had COVID shots, and there's no intention of doing it. And for a variety of reasons, none of which make any sense to me. And it's unfortunate, but that's just one place I don't go anymore.
Right, right. Was there anything, in particular that this group maybe, said, or a way that they acted that made you feel that they felt you didn't belong?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
No, they've never said anything really other than jokingly. But no, actually, many of these guys are very loving, caring, decent people. I just don't understand them anymore and just don't feel comfortable around them.
Yeah. Morty.
Well, I think I've been fortunate in that generally I haven't run into, except for one thing, run into groups where I felt really uncomfortable. When I first moved here from New York,
Culture shock.
in the lab, they all looked at me as though, a New Yorker, and that type of thing. But eventually, it all worked out, and then I was, strictly. But in general, I get along with most people. In our neighborhood now, we had Biden signs and Trump signs. In fact, I think there's still one or two Trump signs.
Stop.
It's no, I generally hang out with people that are, liberal and more my idea. I have a great relationship with my kids and my grandkids, and unfortunately they're in Philadelphia and I'm here, and we're getting harder and harder to travel. So, but good. As I said, I was just, as we were talking, I was trying to think, when did I have a trouble? And it was when I first moved here. But other than that, I consider myself fortunate. So.
Thank you, Morty.
How about you?
Well, what about me? I guess I would say that, even after living in this area for 40 plus years, I don't know, Mike, we'll be married, 43 years? Well, almost 42 years in July.
Yes.
42 years in July, have always lived, our married life, have lived in this area. And I've never quite felt like, I belonged. I think I tried to fit in when I was, much younger, and when I was teaching in the local school district. And it really wasn't until I, let's say till I retired, that I felt like it was time for me to break out of that mode that I was in, that I, felt as though I had to fit in and make people think that I thought like they did or whatever. I mean, I never, I've always been a Democrat. I've always been progressive, but I didn't really share that, or, people probably didn't really know that about me. So even today, I mean, I know that, the people that live in my community in Mifflinburg, per se, they don't think like I do. The large majority don't. And so, I find myself even now, like, not trying, I'm thinking of Facebook, which, you know what? I feel more uncomfortable on Facebook, believe it or not. Yeah. Now that I'm talking here, because I still have that sense that someone's going to attack me for something I shared, and I'm not, I don't know, I don't want to say I'm not strong enough. I don't always know how to react to that. And so I either lash out and like, well, you're just an idiot kind of thing, or I don't say anything, or I'll delete their comment, whatever. Okay, so, in that sense, that's where I'm uncomfortable. Okay, who hasn't shared? And Marcus, I don't think we heard from you, and where do you feel you haven't belonged?
Such a hard questions you're asking this afternoon.
Yeah, that's what we do, hard questions.
I think kind of like you, Patty, in the sense that maybe it's a sense of never feeling like you belong to the community in which you live. So I think that, well, I do share that. And I know that's a very broad area. So I think, but it's always just a matter of finding those few like-minded people that you can call your friends or whatever, that you feel belonging with. And then I think pretty much the rest of it is just a matter of moving through the world and not necessarily feeling like you're rooted in it. At least for me, that's been my experience.
Mm. Thank you. Mike, did you share?
No, I didn't. But I would think, I mean, I can't really say that. I think I've tried to live most of my life trying to avoid situations where I didn't feel like I fit in. I always tried to find people such as what this group is, you know, people of like mind and so forth, or interest and so forth. You know, and I mean, I guess if you need an example, I guess there was a time, I guess, when I was younger, when I was in college and we'd bar hop and so forth. You could tell when you walked into a certain bar that you really didn't fit in here, and this is not a place where you want to spend much time. So
Was it one of my bars?
yeah, there was a couple places. I mean, there were, when I was young, I mean, we were not the most holiest altar boys that there ever was. That and there was a couple places that we used to run around and so forth together, and we went into one of these clubs more or less, and a couple of my friends got involved in a pool game and were getting hustled, and before we knew it, we were all running out the door and so forth like this. So, I mean, obviously that was the most unique example as far as not belonging in that certain environment in which we found ourselves. But like I said, we were not the most faithful altar boys at that point in time. We were a bit of a hellions as far as that was concerned. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I tried to avoid those situations as much as possible. I mean, you just kind of have this sense when you're out and about, whether you're in high school, in college, or in real life now at this point in time, that, you know, you kind of gravitate to spaces in which you feel comfortable. And there's, you know, I'm not one who likes altercation that much at this point. I'm kind of more or less of a pacifist, I guess, if you want to call it that. And that's where I'm at.
Jay, you're at the sacred spot. Wondering, Jay, how's it feeling being there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I had to turn off my video because my phone literally has like 2%. So it actually, I just did my libations and everything, which of course, you know, reading to the ancestors and honoring their transition to, you know, into the other side, in addition to, you know, honoring their transition from Africa to here, this country, is, and especially, you know, coming to New York, it's such a, you know, we think like we actually really remove a lot of the conversation around Northern discourse around enslavement, to be there for that brief moment, and sit there and dwell. It's really a moment, especially, I guess, because I live here in this area. So it's literally 7 minutes from my house. And to know that this is like a recent discovery, you know, of just like one of the many, right? Probably areas that we don't know, is always telling. It's always telling, and it says a lot about myself and the things that I need to constantly keep in mind, of like, what kind of legacy will I leave behind? You know, what stories will be left to be told? You know, because we have such an interesting way of dealing with history. As someone who teaches history at Ohio, one of my biggest arguments is that, you know, between historians and I, is that, you know, that history is an act of memory. And in the wrong hands, it can be selected memory. And so I feel like, you know, it's a good sense of belonging for me to be there, to allow for, you know, my ancestors to know that they are being honored, even if they are, you know, long gone and never experienced that honoring. You know, it means something for me, you know, in the cases of like places I don't like to be. You know, I think it's always, and you know, I have my moments where I just don't want to be. I mean, hell, I kick and scream sometimes with ethical culture because I don't want to be there sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I think that that's the beauty of it too. Even though we're striving to do things better, there's always a tension. I don't like being in America. That's tough, you know. But I'm here. Ryan will tell you, I talk about traveling all the time. You know, as someone who has, you know, developed a dysphoria with my body when I was, you know, after being diagnosed with HIV, I didn't want my body. I didn't want to be in it. Those are very real things. And I think, you know, it comes to that place of honoring, you know, the things about myself in relationship, like I said, to the rest of the world, and the relationship to my location, regardless of struggle, regardless of what I perceive as to be, you know, toxic for me. I am learning that sometimes that toxicity is teaching me. And it's tough. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everyone, for your sharing, your stories, you know, a little bit more about yourself. And, you know, I miss that, you know, our in-person group with, you know, some of our members who aren't able to be with us today. You know, I wish they were here, that they could be sharing their stories with us. And so I think at this point, I'm going to close with a final statement, and then a little short closing activity that we can all participate in. So, cultivating a culture of belonging and community well-being does not insist that we all are the same. It's about celebrating our differences, and in a society where everyone is inside the circle of human concern. And I felt that today. I felt that we shared concern for one another as we listened deeply to the stories that we shared about belonging. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pretend that we have a gift box. All right, so visualize a nice little gift box, all fancy wrapping and bows, glitter, and we're going to pass the gift box to one another. And what I would like you to do is offer a gift to put inside the gift box. This would be a gift for the good of our group. And then after you have given a gift, then I'd like you to take something out of the gift box that, being together today in our discussion, you gained from the group. Okay, so you're doing two things when you get the gift box. All right, one, you're putting something in the gift box for the good of the group. And then the second thing is you're taking something out that you gained from being in the group today. Okay. Just give everyone a little moment to think, sit with that idea. right. I'm going to start off by handing my gift box to Morty. Oh, you were afraid of that, Morty. All right.
Patty, is there anything in the gift box to start it with? How does
Well, all of the ideas that I guess we have collected today are in the gift box. All right, and you're adding an idea,
all right.
and then you're taking something that you personally gained. Okay, so what's something you'd like to offer to this group today, Morty, that you would like to add to the gifts that are in the gift box?
I think something that we had talked about quite a bit today, and that's basically the sense of community. Regardless of what you think or what your life is, that we can get together and be together and be, I don't want to use the word civil because that's almost negative, but to be friends with each other. That's what I would like to do. Okay, maybe that's the good word. I would like to put in friendship.
Unity, friendship. All right. Now, what is something you would like to take from the gift box?
That's easy. I love discussion. I love to hear other people's views. So that's what I would like to hear.
Good. Thank you, Morty. Now, Morty, who would you like to pass the gift box to?
You.
To me. I know. Now you put me on the spot. All right. Okay. So, what would I like to add to the gift box? Lots and lots of love.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that this love will spread. And then taking from the gift box, I would like to I'd like to take the stories that you have told, and in the parts of the stories that really resonated with me personally. That is the beauty when Morty said, discussion. I think, just the discussion, and the sharing time is real important, and I so appreciated that today. Okay, I would like to share my gift box with Darlene.
Oh, thank you, Patty, for sharing. I am on talking, aren't I?
Yes.
I would like to put into the gift box an awareness that we all belong. Listening today and hearing the pain of the feeling of not belonging in family or community or whatever. I realized we all need to be aware we belong. We belong. Whether anybody thinks so or not, we belong. And I would like to take out of it just again the expanded awareness of the different paths we've walked on to get to this place, and the depth of feeling and passion for ethical living that this group puts forth.
Darlene, who would you like to pass the gift box to?
I would like to pass the gift box to, well, he's right next to me, Brian Johnson.
I think I would put in the box compassion. I think we need to have compassion for each other. Belief, well, I don't want to say belief because that's another word. So compassion is what I would put in the box. What I would take out of the box is all that love that Patty wants to give.
Brian, pass the box.
I'm going to pass it to Elle.
And I knew you were going to do that. What I would like to take out of the, what is it, take out? Well, Darlene said something that really hit home with me, and that's about people the realization that we need to listen. We need to listen and truly listen. And I've learned that also from Jay. We've had many, many conversations about listening. And I find that very important, and it's something that most people, it's very foreign to them. So I don't know, was that taking out or putting in? That's taking out, right?
Right, yeah.
Putting in. I feel very happy to be a part of this group. I have admired you guys from the very beginning and all the good work you do in your community. You know, I've been around ethical culture for the last going on 16 years now. And you guys really are a shining star, in my opinion. I truly feel that. And I'm very proud that my husband and I are now a part of this group. So what I'm putting in is my dedication to you all. If you need anything, just call.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, Elle, who would you like to pass the gift box to?
Michael.
I knew he was going to give it to me. That's for sure. I just had this feeling. What do I want to take out of the box? Well, first of all, what do I want to put into the box? Into the box, I would like to put in good health and to all of us at this point and the members of this group and society. And basically the thanks of all of your friendship and camaraderie and so forth that we have as far as our group is concerned. And what is it I'm taking out now? I'm putting good health to all, taking out, finally getting to see Elle in person. And I've heard this voice so many times, and I've always tried to imagine what Elle looked like and so forth. And I love the ball cap and so forth, Elle. Definitely. Very good.
Unfortunately, I can't see you. I see your arm.
Well, here I am.
There you
I have no hair, and basically I do have a suntan now.
He's just basic white dude.
Well, I look forward to meeting you all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mike, who are you?
I'm going to pass it off to Guy.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see how to put in first. I would put in generosity. And what I'm getting out of it is a sense of calmness. I need to pass it to somebody.
Yes.
So let's see.
Yeah.
Kimberly.
Okay, thank you. What I would like to put into the box is permission for each of us to be authentic. And what I'm taking from the box today is a sense of trust. Easy peasy.
Yeah. Good. And I think
Jay,
I think, had to step out. I think his phone finally went. And Marcus stepped out. So do we hear from Brian? Did we pass the box to
Yes,
Brian?
yeah, Brian had the
Well
box.
then,
There's Jay.
oh, there's Jay. Okay, Jay, the box has been passed to you.
Okay, my phone just died by the time I got to the car, so great. So what I'm putting into the box, I am putting into the box, I'm putting in, yeah, I'm putting in something I think we don't know how to carry quite well, but the wholeness of tension. I think that's just a very beautiful thing to hold. I really appreciate, you know, hard questions. I work through the hard, and I love it that way. So I think it's important, you know, to sit with all of the things in its beautiful complexity. And the things that I'm taking out is, you know, I am taking out a deep sense of gratitude, deep sense of gratitude to be with the community that is willing to explore, figure out new ways to be humanists who get in touch with their humanism and embody that, and at the same time, right, getting so in touch with their humanism to sit with all of those things, and then at the end of the day, realize that we are in service of compassion to each other. That is important. So that's where I'm at with that, and I'll show my face for like, since my phone is increasing in power.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everyone. And I'd like to close, and those of us who have the paper in front of you with our closing words, we can read this together for those on Zoom to hear us close out today. Go, create justice, create love, be the way to peace, be the truth of peace, be the light of peace. Go, be the power in the human spirit. I love you all. Let's give everyone a wonderful clap. It was great to have you with us today. And we'll remember, we have 2 weeks, 2 Sundays now that we won't be together, you know, in this way, but know that we email, we have Facebook, our Facebook group. There's lots of ways for us to stay connected, and we have the good old ringy dingy telephone. Please call. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and we will see you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Will do. Okay, now let me just do something here
You gotta
because
stop your record.
I need to end.